everybody, welcome out here to today's video. As we all know, this past Tuesday, the 2024 Monster Jam and schedule announcement happened, and we have all the tours and dates for the upcoming Monster Jam season. And so today we're going to be analyzing it, and I'll give my thoughts on it. First up, before the actual schedule announcement dropped, a couple weeks before, or maybe 2 weeks before that, we got some huge groundbreaking news regarding 2024, which is the fact that Tom Meents will be retiring. Tom Meents will be retiring after the 2024 Monster Jam season, which is really sad to see Tom Meents go. He's created lots of memories for us, and the sport is just not going to be the same without Tom Meents in it. So it's going to be sad to see him go, but you know, we've had a really fun time seeing Tom Meents driving over the past 30 plus years. So it'll be nice to see him drive at it one last time. One big thing to note here is Tom Meents will be kind of doing what Jim Kohler does, and Tom Meents will be running different bodies each weekend. So each weekend he'll be running a different body. So that's going to be really interesting this year to see all the cool Max D bodies come back. We'll probably see stuff like a regular Silver Max D body. We may get to see the Maximum Destruction body, Max D Fire, the Gold body, the Gold Maximum Destruction body from World Final 16, the Gold body, Fire, Blackout, and all the cool different bodies here. We'll see them all come back next year, which is going to be really exciting, and I cannot wait to see. Then after Tom Meents retires, he's still going to be involved in Monster Jam. He is not retiring just yet, as he will become a full-time teacher at UNOH, which will be good for the sport, so that way we can have a full-time teacher, not just one that teaches from, the post-World Finals all the way till December, but a full-time teacher throughout the year here for the drivers. So that way all the new drivers that are coming up, they can go to school there throughout the entirety of the year, not just in the summertime, as it's not the best to be training to drive a monster truck during the summertime, since it is kind of hot out there. And yeah, and Tom Meents is also going to become the official stunt coordinator for Monster Jam. He'll be the official stunt coordinator, coordinating stunts and coming up with ideas for stunts that will be happening in the future that they'll try to do at more World Finals. Maybe they'll try to do other tricks, maybe they'll bring back other tricks the reverse forward momentum backflip, the double forward momentum backflip, maybe a double front flip, a double reverse backflip, more truck jumps, and whatever they can just come up with for stunts and to perform at World Finals. So it's going to be sad to see Tom Meents go. We'll definitely miss him here in the sport. Let's take a look and analyze, though, our first tour. First off, we have Adam Anderson in Gravedigger, Ryan Anderson, Son of a Digger, Camden Murphy in the Bakugan Dragonoid, Tony Oaks and, Colt Stevens in Thunder Boris, Caleb Blood in Soldier of Fortune, Corey Rummel in Megalodon, Chris Kohler in Monster Mutt, Jim Kohler in Avenger, Mike Christensen in Vendetta, and David Olfert in Velociraptor, and Joe Foley in Axe. And this will be the lineup that will determine Stadium Series West. Now, there's a lot of things we can note and need to note here on this tour. First off, the Stadium Series, instead of being named by color like how they've been since 2020, we're now going back to East and West Coast tours. Back in the day, this is the first time we've actually had an East and West Coast Stadium tour for the first time since 2017. For the stadium tours back in the day, they were called the FS1 series back during 2015 and 16. Then in 2017, they expanded to 2 FS1 tours, one for the East Coast and one for the West Coast. And then they went to naming the tours by numbers, like Stadium Tours 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4 throughout 2018 and 19. And then they started doing Stadium Tours by color for 2021, 2022, 2023. And then they just called the 2021 Stadium Championship Series, they just called it the 2021 Stadium Championship Series. So it's nice to see the tours go back to being more named after East or West Coast. It does have some positives and some negatives. This does possibly mean we could get a different track each weekend. Something I really hope to see, because, like, I kind of missed back in the old days where, like, you'd walk to the venue not knowing what track you'll see from back in the day, and nowadays you kind of know, like, what track you'll see. Yeah, I mean, they kind of did do that this year for some shows. Some shows you kind of walk to the venue for the stadium tours and you don't really know what you're going to expect. Especially for the stadium tour Red, where they were constantly changing between the St. Louis style and the St. Louis style and the Chicago style, or the paperclip style. So that would be really cool. Well, just kind of see different tracks, or maybe different colors for the tracks. Since for every tour since 2017, they've kind of ran the same colored tracks each event. So I'd really love to see more of a differentiating in colors, where they change up the color or the style of each track. That's something I did mention back over a month ago in my video where I talked about the stuff I wanted to see for the 2024 season. And let's take a look here at the lineup here for the tour and analyze it a bit more in depth. We have Adam Anderson and Ryan Anderson competing on the same tour. Adam Anderson is the defending Stadium Tour champion, Stadium Tour Red champion, so he's going to come back on this tour to try to defend his title. And the Anderson brothers are competing on a tour together. Or again, Adam and Ryan. We have not seen this since 2021, and in 2021, they were driving Megalodon and Bakugan Dragonoid. Adam was driving Megalodon, and Ryan was in Bakugan. So it's nice to see the Anderson brothers tour together, and they're in their own digger trucks, not just in Megalodon or Bakugan Dragonoid. So it is nice to see that here. That is really nice here for Adam and Ryan to compete on the same tour together. We didn't think that was ever going to happen. I never thought they would put the two Anderson brothers on a tour together, but they decided to do it. We have Camden Murphy and the Bakugan Dragonoid on this tour. I'm really hoping Camden Murphy can have a better season this year. The next year, this year was a pretty good season for Camden in the start, but then he kind of started to fall off, and he had the points lead actually on his tour from around, I believe, I think it was either St. Louis or Anaheim. He had the tour lead. He held the tour lead from Anaheim to St. Louis, and he held it all the way till Minneapolis, where he fell out of the lead. And Camden got second place last year, so Camden really wants to try to knock down Adam Anderson and get the tour win. We have Colt Stevens of Thunder Warriors, who's back on this tour on a West Coast Stadium tour. This time he is driving Thunder Warriors, and he is the defending World Finals Freestyle Champion here. So we have two of our defending World Finals champions on this tour. We have the defending High Jump champion Ryan Anderson and the defending Freestyle champion Colt Stevens. So it'll be nice to see Colt Stevens trying to see her to come back on this tour and try to have a good season. Colt had a really good season this year, definitely kind of like de-rusting after having not driven behind the wheel in so long. So, I cannot wait to see for Colt Stevens to continue being a full-time driver instead of being either just a part-time. I cannot wait to see what he's going to have to pull up his sleeve here on this tour. Caleb Blood, and Soldier Fortune is back on this tour, where Caleb Blood is hoping to try to have another good season here. He had a really good season this season, and she's hoping to continue and have a really, really good season here. Coming up here for 2024 here in Monster Jam. Next up, we do have Team Scream right here. Corey Rummel and Megalodon. And I see Corey back on another tour. Corey kind of had a slow start last year, but ever since like around April in Glendale, he really started to pick up his momentum. So I'm really excited to see what Corey Rummel can bring out to the track here next season and for a full-time season. I hope he has a really good season next year. And I'm really, really, really hoping Corey Rummel can pick up a racing win inside of Megalodon. Corey Rummel has been trying to get a racing win since he's been piloting the wheel of Megalodon for so long, since 2020. He's came up close so many times. He's came close to winning so many times, but loses. So I'm really hoping Corey Rummel can bring home a racing win next season. We have our Rookie of the Year, Chris Kohler in Monster Mutt. I'm excited to see Chris Kohler get another full-time season here behind the wheel of Monster Mutt. Chris, Chris had an amazing season in this year. He had a slow start throughout San Diego, but he really started picking things up and around San Antonio. He really picked things up, and he did really amazing, and he did really good. He got a racing win in Arlington, a skills challenge win in Anaheim, show number 6, and he got 2 freestyle wins in Inglewood, California at SoFi Stadium, and in Anaheim, California, show 6 at Angel Stadium. So I'm really excited to see what Chris Kohler will be bringing out to the track here in Monster Mutt as he'll be returning behind the wheel of that truck here. I cannot wait to see what Chris Kohler will be doing on the tour here. We have Jim Kohler returning back again for another season. I'm really hoping Jim Kohler has a better season next year than what he's had these past couple of years. These past 2 years, Jim Kohler has gone winless here in Monster Jam, which is just mind-boggling and baffling here, and that Jim Kohler went winless throughout this past year. Here, he was one of the only few drivers to not get a win this year. So I'm really hoping next year Jim Kohler can win some competition, and I hope he wins something next year. I really hope he gets one win in one competition. I hope he can really bring it home and get some sort of a win here, as Jim Kohler definitely needs it, as he hasn't gotten a win in Monster Jam since 2021. Although Jim Kohler has gotten some wins, though, in the independent circuit and independent shows, but we want to see him get a win here at Monster Jam, and we're just super excited to see what bodies Jim Kohler will be running next season throughout the year. I'm really, really, really excited to see what bodies Jim Kohler will be bringing out next season here on the tour. We have Mike Christensen in Vendetta. Mike Christensen had a really, really good season this year. He is the Breakout Driver of the Year award winner, so I cannot wait to see him, and hopefully he can have another great season. He has done really good, really, really good this season. He's been picking up his game in freestyle, adding in more backflips in there. And Mike has just had many great freestyle runs throughout the season, such as in St. Louis Show 1, Tampa Show 1, Tampa Show 2, Houston, Texas, where he brought home his first freestyle win, Minneapolis Show 1, where he actually ended up winning the overall event championship at that show as well. He got a really good freestyle there. He had a great freestyle in Jacksonville, Orlando. Both shows in Detroit, Syracuse, Philadelphia, Foxborough, East Rutherford. He's done really good in here, but the only really sad thing is we haven't actually seen Mike Christensen throw down a freestyle at a stadium show since East Rutherford, as he actually missed freestyle in the past 2 stadium shows he competed in, which were Cleveland, Ohio on June 3rd of this past year, and also at he also missed freestyle in New Orleans as well, and he also missed freestyle in Salinas. So we hope Mike Christensen, hopefully he can fix up his truck here. And he's been doing some arena shows lately, so hopefully his truck is all fixed up and is ready to go here for 2024, so he can hopefully try and make it out to all the competitions here, and we can hope to see Mike Christensen at the World Finals next year. We have David Olfert in Velociraptor here. David Olfert is finally getting a chance here to compete on a stadium tour, which is really, really exciting here. I cannot wait to see what David Olfert can do in a stadium. David Olfert, he has done a few stadiums before in the past. He's done a few stadium shows, and he's had some pretty good freestyles in some of the stadium shows, such as in New Orleans of this year, and Glendale of October last year. So we're really excited to see what David Olfert can do here in a stadium. On a stadium tour coming up this upcoming year. They're finally getting a chance to compete on the stadium tour. So that is really exciting. David Olfert was supposed to compete on a stadium tour this year, but got put back into the arenas and was replaced by Travis Mowry, who would drive Velociraptor in the stadiums and So it's nice to see David Olford coming back here on this stadium tour here. And I do have a theory for David Olford. I do have a theory that David Olford's going to be running Paul Jensen / Travis Mowry's chassis. The metal shop chassis that they have. I'm predicting though he'll be running that. Most likely because they can't run the other chassis for the Blue Velociraptor in the Arena Tour all season long, because that header that they have that the Blue Velociraptor chassis ran this season is super duper loud, and they probably don't really want to have that in the arenas. So that is why I am predicting that he'll use that chassis instead next season. But even if he doesn't use that chassis, I really do hope the Velociraptor chassis David Olford has been using this season, I hope it does get fixed up, because some of the summer shows he's been doing behind the wheel of that chassis has not been performing well. So I hope David Olford can have that truck fixed up and he can ready to rock it out here. And no matter what truck he will be running next season, I'm really excited to see him on a stadium tour. And the most noteworthy thing here of all is Joe Foley in El Toro Loco for next season. I'm a bit disappointed that Joe Foley's running the El Toro Loco names. I just don't really think this is a good fit here for Joe Foley. I think the Axe truck fitted better for Joe Foley, and I liked Axe a lot. Axe was a really cool truck, and had a really good fire theme song as well. And Axe fits really good for Joe Foley, since Joe Foley is a volunteer firefighter. Thank you for your service, Joe Foley, but we're just really disappointed Joe Foley is in El Toro Loco. We wish he was driving Axe next season, but it is what it is. And we can always see Joe Foley tear it up in El Toro Loco next season on this tour. Next up here is the schedule here for the tour. We have San Francisco, California here at Oracle Park, January 6th through 7th. San Diego, California at Snapdragon Stadium, January 13th through 14th. January 21st through 20th through 21st will be at Anaheim, California in Angel Stadium. January 27th through 28th, they'll be in San Diego, California at Snapdragon Stadium. February 3rd through 4th, they'll be in Anaheim, California at Angel Stadium once again. February 10th, they'll be in NRG Stadium at Houston, Texas. February 17th through 18th, they'll be in Anaheim, California at Angel Stadium once again. February 24th through 25th, they're going to be in Detroit, Michigan at Ford Field. March 2nd, they'll be in Arlington, Texas at AT&T Stadium. March 15th through 17th, they'll be in Albuquerque, New Mexico at the Tingley Coliseum. March 23rd, they'll be in Birmingham, Alabama at Protective Stadium. April 5th through 7th, they'll be in Nampa, Idaho at the Ford Idaho Center. April 13th through 14th, they'll be in Des Moines, Iowa at the Wells Fargo Arena. So some things here to know here about this tour here is, first off, a lot of people are thinking San Francisco is a non-for-points event, but it is not that thing. Just stands for the public sale starts on September 26th for that event. So all the tickets are already on sale here for insiders, Monster Jam insiders, I believe, for all shows, except for, I believe, San Francisco, as that public sale will not start until Tuesday the 26th. So make sure if you live in the San Francisco area or you want to go to that show, make sure you put that down on your calendar here to go to that event here in San Francisco. But there's a lot of cool things here about this West Coast tour. It looks like a lot of their stops are taking place throughout California and Texas. As the first 5 weeks of the tour, they will be in California. They're bringing back 4 shows in Snapdragon Stadium, and kind of like what they did last year. They have 6 shows in Anaheim, which is going to be really cool. In San Francisco, that new stop here, they have a new stop in San Francisco, California, which is really cool. We cannot wait to see that stadium here for the first time in a long time. Do you remember that San Francisco did get some Moss Jam shows a very long time ago? Oh, but it was years ago, back in the 2000s. So it's nice to see San Francisco get another Monster Jam show. So there's a lot of dates here on this tour that are almost taking place at the exact same time of how they would last year. Here, they have San Diego on the second week of January. They have they have Anaheim on February 17th through 18th, almost like how they did last year. Detroit is back in the last weekend of February, kind of like how it was in 2022. Arlington is during Arlington is in the first weekend of March, kind of like how it was this year. Albuquerque, New Mexico is back in the same exact weekend as it was in the St. Patrick's Day weekend. It will be back for then. And yeah, there's also another thing to note here. Birmingham, Alabama, March 23rd here. And Moss Jam will be going to a college football stadium for the first time. Mostly Moss Jam does their events and they're at NFL stadiums, mostly, or NFL and MLB stadiums. That's where they mostly do their shows at. The only show I believe Moss Jam does that is not held at a MLB or NFL stadium is Camping World Stadium in Orlando. This Camping World Stadium in Orlando doesn't really have a team that plays there. It just kind of has like a wide variety of uses, mainly used for like college football and concerts. But they do have Moss Gym there as well. But they don't really have a team that really plays there in Orlando, so it is interesting to see how Moss Gym is using a college football stadium for the first time here, Protective Stadium here. And for this tour, I'm actually trying to think of, it's not confirmed if I'll be there yet. It's not confirmed, but I'm going to try to go to Birmingham, Alabama. But guys, that all just depends on the financial stuff, as I've already spent a lot of money. My family has spent a lot of money on tickets already this week, so it just depends on the financial situation. We'll try to reevaluate it by Christmas time. See if we'll go, or we may evaluate it after the first couple weekends of shows here, and that I will be doing. And now I'll be going to. If I can make enough money off of YouTube, I will try to go to Birmingham, Alabama. But that is if I get enough money. So, guys, if you want to see me go to Birmingham, Alabama and produce some content for you guys, if you want to see me do that, make sure you subscribe, ring that notification bell, like the video, and watch all my videos that come out here, so I get as many views as I can, and so I get monetized and get some good money here. And I try to get more shows here for you guys. So guys, make sure if you're not subscribed already, please be sure to subscribe. And as Dream says, it's free and you can always unsubscribe later. But that's pretty much everything I've got to know here about this tour here. Let's move on to our next tour, Arena Series Central, which will feature Weston Anderson and Gravedigger, Elvis Linus and El Toro Loco, Lindsey Reed and Scooby-Doo, Jamie Sullivan and Monster My Dalmatian, Mikhail Tolochka in Megalodon, and Brandon Tolochka in Just Get Her Done 2. So this is actually only 6 out of the 8 drivers here on this tour. The other tour had 11 out of 12 drivers. This tour only has 6 out of the 8 announced. The full schedules aren't announced yet, and they will be announced probably in around November or December is when the full tour lineups will be revealed. Let's take a look here at this lineup. We have the defending tour champion, Weston Anderson. Weston Anderson, although he wasn't on the Central Tour last year, he is the defending tour champion here. This is actually our first time we've seen Weston Anderson not on an East Coast tour, as the past 2 years for 2022 and 2023, he's been on an East Coast arena tour. He is now in a Central tour for the arenas, which is going to be really interesting to see here for Weston Anderson here. We can always see what he's gonna do and what he's gonna pull up his sleeves. He's done so many crazy things this year on his arena tours, winning so many overall event championship wins and winning so many competition wins here. I just cannot wait to see what Weston has up his sleeve here and what crazy things he's gonna be doing on the Arena Series Central coming up this season. He's definitely got some things up his sleeve, and I'm excited to see what he's going to be doing, as it's going to be really interesting. Elvis Linus and El Toro Loco, he's back on the Central Tour for the first time since 2022. He was on the West Coast Tour this year. This year is now moving over to the central part of the United States here to drive El Toro Loco. I can't wait to see what Elvis Linus will be doing here in El Toro Loco. Here on this tour, it's going to be really exciting. Elvis Linus had a really good season this year. He got second place here on the Arena Series West. So hopefully he can try to go up to first place here this year. But with the competition of this tour of Weston Anderson, it is not going to be easy. We have Lindsey Reed in Scooby-Doo, back here on this tour, or here we can always see what Lindsay Reed has got to throw down here for us. Whereas here, this past year here, Lindsay Reed, she kind of need a year to kind of like knock some rust off here, as she did leave for maternity leave in around late 2021, and then returned in October of 2022 for some shows. Then made a full-time competition return here this year. Here, so it is nice to see Lindsay Reed back here on another tour for full time. Now that she's kind of knocked some rust off here from after her maternity leave, we cannot wait to see what she's gonna pull out to the track here. Lindsay Reed was having a really great season in 2021 in the arenas before she left for the maternity leave, picking up some overall event championship wins. So we can hope Lindsay Reed can have something similar like that occur here this week, this year, this coming up season here in 2024. We have Jamie Sullivan and Monster My Dalmatian back here on this tour. We did see Jamie Sullivan come back here for another tour here. The pilot Monster My Dalmatian. I'm not gonna lie, I was a bit concerned that she was not gonna come back next year since she was busy with college and stuff like that, that she was gonna leave Monster Jam and pursue some other career here, but she has come back here for another season. We're excited to see what Jamie Sullivan has for us up here, and she's really been rising up and has been doing really good as of lately. She's been doing really good. She's had an amazing season this year. Especially her performance in Savannah, Georgia was just amazing. She's been doing awesome this year here in her rookie season. She's a new up-and-coming female driver here, which we can always see what she's going to do next year when she has a full-time tour or next season here on Arena Series Central. Then lastly, we have the two Talochkas, Brandon and Michaela Talochka. I was gonna also kind of like with Jamie Sullivan. I was concerned they weren't gonna return either, as I got a rumor from somebody on Instagram, and here they told me that the Talochkas weren't gonna return here next season, but I heard they weren't gonna come back next year, and that they maybe they would go off pursue other careers or to compete on a different monster truck tour, like maybe they'd compete on the All-Star Monster Truck Tour again, or do Toughest Truck Tour, or some other independent tour here. But luckily they are back. They are back here on Arena Series Central. We're super excited to see what they can do here. Michaela Talochka is also a new up-and-coming female driver as well. She's been doing really good this year. She's been trying to practice here, doing moonwalks here, and I'm hoping she can try to balance her truck and try to do more two-wheel moves and try to master that here for Michaela Talochka. We have Brandon Talochka, I think is going to be a really big contestant here. Is definitely an underdog on this tour. Brandon Talochka had a really good season this past year. He's really good at the two-wheel skills competition with those stoppies and moonwalks. He is really good. He's got a nice truck with how the hood lays out here. You can just stand it on the nose and pull off some pretty cool saves here. So I can always see what Brandon Talochka is gonna do next season on Arena Series Central, as I think he's gonna do really amazing, and he's gonna be somebody to look after for, as he's definitely an underdog on this tour, and somebody can easily take home an overall event championship win and get some points. Now for the schedule on this tour, they'll start off the season in the Bridgestone Arena in Nashville, Tennessee, January 6th through 7th. January 13th through 14th, they'll be in Kansas City, Missouri at the T-Mobile Center. January 20th through 21st, they'll be in Milwaukee, Wisconsin at the Pfizer Forum. January 26th through 28th, they'll be in Newark, New Jersey at the Prudential Center. February 2nd through 4th, they'll be in Belmont Park, New York at the UBS Center. February 9th through 11th, they'll be in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania at the PPG Paints Arena. February 16th through 18th, they'll be in Worcester, Massachusetts at the DCU Center. March 9th through 10th, they'll be in Little Rock, Arkansas at the Simons Bank Arena. March 15th through 17th, they'll be in Toledo, Ohio at the Huntington Center. March 22nd through 24th, they'll be in Grand Rapids, Michigan at the Van Andel Arena. March 29th through 30th, they'll be in the Freedom Hall in Louisville, Kentucky. April 6th through 7th, they'll be in Columbia, South Carolina at the Colonial at the Colonial Life Arena. April 13th through 14th, they'll be in Cincinnati, Ohio at the Heritage Bank Center. April 26th through 28th, they'll be in Columbus, Ohio at the Scott Hutchinson Center. May 3rd through 5th, they'll be in South Haven, Mississippi at the Landers Center. What a really good and long tour here on this tour. They'll be starting off the tour in Nashville, Tennessee. They'll play the city, although it's not the venue where the World Finals is held at. They're in the same city as where we had the World Finals this past season, so that is going to be really exciting here for this tour. They return to Louisville, Kentucky, a very famous and historical venue here for Monster Jam, and then they end off the tour in South Haven, Mississippi, which is really cool. Unfortunately, I don't have enough money, and all these cities are too far away, so I will unfortunately not attend any events on this tour. I will not be attending any events on this tour here for next year. Let's move on to our next tour of Arena Championship Series East, which will feature Kristen Anderson and Gravedigger, Armando Castro and El Toro Loco, Cody Saucier and Dragon, Zach Garner and Wildside, Mark Hall and Raminator, and Kurt Kramer in Ramunition. This is 6 out of the 8 drivers that we'll be seeing competing on this tour, as there is still one more to be announced, or there's still 2 more to be announced drivers here to be announced to compete on this tour. This tour is going to feature Kristen Anderson in Gravedigger, Armando Castro in El Toro Loco, Cody Saucier in Dragon, Zach Garner in Wildside, Mark Hall in Raminator, and Kurt Kramer in Ramunition. So this is a really good tour. We're out here for Arena Series East here. As we'll actually have a new tour champion here at the end of this tour champions. None of the defending tour champions here are here, but we do have a tour champion on this tour, being Kristen Anderson. Kristen Anderson and Gravedigger is the only tour champion that is so far competing here on this tour. So we can always see what Kristen Anderson will bring to the table, as she's the 2022 Arena Series Central Champion. But the rest of the drivers on this tour have never won a tour before. We're excited to see Armando Castro back here on another tour here. And for the first time since in a long time, he's on a tour where Weston Anderson is not present. So this is a really big opportunity here for Armando Castro to try to win his first ever tour championship and to try to get himself an entry into the next World Finals in Nashville, in Inglewood, California at SoFi Stadium here. So that is going to be really, really cool here for Armando Castro in El Toro Loco. He could possibly win here. So could Cody Saucier in Dragon. And Cody, he's had a struggle these past couple of years. He'll have a great start, but he'll start to fall off after in the first couple of weekends. So Cody Saucier can remain consistent and have a really good tour this year. We have Zach Garner and Wildside, who is definitely an underdog on this tour. Zach Garner has been doing amazing in these arena shows. He is really good at these arena shows. He's really fast in racing, and he's really good in two-wheel skills, and he can have a really good momentum and have some huge air and crazy wow moments in freestyle. Then we have the Hall brothers racing here. They have really big, good horsepower machines here that can definitely help them get some nice points in racing. And they can also definitely do well in the Sky Wheelie competition, since they are used to Sky Wheelies. They can definitely do good at that. However, I'm a bit disappointed, though, since the Hall brothers racing team may not do as good next season as they have in the years past, since they've removed the donut competition, a competition where the Hall brothers definitely exceeded at and did amazing at. And since they removed the donut competition, that is not going to help them out here next year. So I do hope they can try to pick up some points here, but it's going to be a bit harder for them in the next year, considering there is no donut competition. In my opinion, with this tour, this is probably going to be one of the closest tours we'll probably be seeing here all season long. This tour is going to come down to the wire here, to the final event, the points championship, where it will probably not be crowned until the final event of the season. It's not going to be crowned like a couple events before the season actually ends. I think it's going to be crowned at the final event of the tour. So that's going to be really interesting this year. I cannot wait to see who wins. It's going to be a really big battle in the top 4 between Chris Anderson, Armando Castro, and Cody Saucier, and Zach Garner. It's going to be really close here in the top 4 with them. And there's still 2 other drivers that have still yet to be announced here. As we all know, so there's one independent driver who still hasn't been announced yet. Probably somebody from the Team Overboard Motorsports. Maybe John Zimmer Sr. will come back, since I have heard rumors that John Zimmer Jr. is leaving Overboard Motorsports. I don't know which team he'll be driving for now, but he is leaving Overboard Motorsports here, so I'm hoping he can come back, compete next year, and drive something. But who knows? Who knows? I hope he comes back. Hopefully the rumors are not true and that he is driving Terminal Velocity next year. But if not, it'll be interesting to see what the other spot from Team Overboard Motorsports can be. Maybe Miss Overboard will come and finally compete in Monster Jam, and maybe Miss Overboard will compete. He will compete, or maybe John Zimmer Sr. will come back. Who knows? It's going to be interesting here. And as for the other Feld truck that will be on this tour, it will be a Megalodon. And what the Megalodon driver and who will be behind the wheel of the Megalodon will be to be determined. Part of me is predicting it could be Bernard Light. It could be Bernard Light, but part of me thinks Bernard Light will be competing internationally next season. And part of me thinks that maybe next year they're either going to get a new rookie out of UNOH, or maybe Logan Ashline will drive Megalodon next season. And so we'll have 3 female Megalodon drivers for the next year. But who knows? It'll be really interesting. But we do know it will be a Megalodon on this tour. There will be a Megalodon on this tour. But who will be driving it, we do not know. And we'll just have to wait and see. Next up, here's our very long tour schedule here for Arena Series East. January 6th through 7th, they'll be in Florence, South Carolina at the Florence Center. January 13th through 14th, they'll be in Greensboro, North Carolina at the Greensboro Coliseum. March 19th through 21st, they'll be in Baltimore, Maryland at the CFG Bank Arena. January 27th through 28th, they'll be in Washington, D.C. at the Capital One Arena. February 2nd through 4th, they'll be in Providence, Rhode Island at the Amica Mutual Pavilion. February 9th through 11th, they'll be in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania at the Mohegan Sun Arena. February 16th through 18th, they'll be in Cleveland, Ohio at the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. February 23rd to 25th, they'll be in Allentown, Pennsylvania at the PPL Center. March 9th through 10th, they'll be in Tupelo, Mississippi at the Cadence Bank Arena. March 16th through 17th, they'll be in Biloxi, Mississippi at the Mississippi Coast Coliseum. March 22nd through 24th, they'll be in Hidalgo, Texas at the Payne Arena. March 29th through 31st, they will be in Macon, Georgia at the Macon Coliseum. April 6th through 7th, they'll be in Greenville, South Carolina at the Bon Secours Wellness Arena. April 12th through 14th, they'll be in Huntsville, Alabama at the Von Braun Center Propst Arena. April 19th through 21st, they'll be in North Charleston, South Carolina at the North Charleston Center. April 26th through 28th, they'll be in Colorado Springs, Colorado at the Broadmoor World Arena. And May 5th, they'll be in Salinas, California. Now some interesting things to note here about this tour. Is the fact that is the most interesting thing to note here about this tour. There's a lot of cool stops here on this tour. The only thing I really have to say to take note of here about the stops here, a lot of the same venues here that we've seen in the years past here, and a lot of the same schedule. The big thing we can note here is Salinas, California. I'm gonna bet so much Salinas, California is most likely not gonna be a part of the tour. I don't know why, but for some reason throughout the past 3 seasons, they put Salinas, California as a part of the tour, as a non-for-points show. Like in 2022, they had the Sims trucks, the Sims team, and Brandon Darrow, along with Cody Saucier, Brandon Mahan, Armando Castro, Weston Anderson, all going to Salinas, California for a show in May or late April, and I'm like, That is never going to happen. I don't think the Sims team is ever going to try to travel out to California for a show again unless they're on a stadium tour or they get invited to compete at the World Finals, as the Sims team hasn't done any shows in California since 2020 was their last time they did one, which was in Anaheim. So I don't see them traveling all the way out to California for an outdoor show. Oh, and I don't see the Overboard team doing so as well. I think Overboard Motorsports will only go out to California for either a stadium show or the World Finals. I don't think they'll be traveling out to there. And plus, Salinas, California has been more known to have more West Coast independent teams compete there, not the East Coast ones. We have never seen any East Coast independent teams compete at Salinas. The most East Coast, the closest independent team from the East Coast that has competed at Salinas has been the 2 Extreme Racing. So I think I can very much see Salinas either A, having a lineup change, or B, Salinas just gets moved to June, where they when they always host the event. So I don't see them doing it in May. I can see them pushing it to June. Alright, speaking of East Coast tours, we're now going to move over here to the Stadium Championship Series East, which is the only tour that has a full lineup, which will consist of Tyler Menninga and Gravedigger, Tom Menson, Max D, Barry Musauer and Zombie, Bryce Kenny, the Great Coast Mohawk Warrior, Jamie Garner and El Toro Loco, Cynthia Gauthier and Lucas Stabilizer, Todd LeDuc and Megalodon, Cole Venard and the Black Pearl, Matt Pagliarulo and Jester, Nick Pagliarulo and Kraken, John Gordon and Bad Company, and Ryan Disharoon and Shaker. So on this tour here, we have our defending Stadium Tour Blue winner Tyler Menninga on this tour, as well as he is also defending World Final Skills champion, is on this tour here, which is going to be really interesting and nice year for Tyler Menninga. Back here on this tour, as he is back here on an East Coast Stadium tour. He played on the West Coast last year, but now he is back here on the East Coast. So it's nice here. Tyler Menninga's had a really good season this year, getting his first Stadium Series win. We can't wait to see if he can replicate that and get another Stadium Tour win here this year. We have Tom Meents competing in his final season here on this tour, which is going to be sad to see here. So we can always see what Tom Meents is going to do. He's definitely going to go all out here in this show here. He's going to go all out this year in these final seasons. Since it's his final season, he's going to go all out. We can always see what Tom Meents has got for us. We have Barry Musauer and Zombie. It's exciting to see Barry Musauer back on the East Coast Stadium Tour. I'm really excited to see Barry here on the East Coast Tour. He's definitely my second most hyped driver seeing here on this East Coast Tour, probably besides Tom Meents. I'm probably the most hyped to see Tom Meents on this East Coast Tour, since it will be his final season, so I definitely want to see him. I'm also excited to see Barry here on this East Coast Stadium Tour for a reason we'll be getting to very soon when we talk about the schedule. I'm giving you guys some major foreshadowing here. Bryce Kenny back on this East Tour, which is really crazy since this is the first time since the beginning of his career. Ever since 2018, he has competed on the same tour with Adam Anderson. But the Gears and Nachos podcast hosters are now divided onto 2 separate tours for the first time since 2017. 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, the past 6 years, Bryce Kenny's been on the same tour with Adam Anderson. But now they have finally split, and Bryce Kenny is now back here on the East Coast Stadium Tour. Jamie Garner is back in El Toro Loco. I kind of wish he would drive Overboard, but no, he just doesn't have the budget, as he kept destroying Overboard bodies in 2022. So that is why he wants to run El Toro Loco during the main season, so he can go all out here and have a great season. So I'm excited to see what Jamie can do here in El Toro Loco. Oh, Jamie Garner had a bit of a slower. Jamie Garner had a really good, consistent season all around on the Stadium Tour Red this year, even coming close to winning an overall event championship win back in Cleveland. As he actually has gotten 2 racing wins this past season, and one in he got one in Anaheim Show 2, and the other in Cleveland, and even got a Skills Challenge win in Miami, Florida Show 1. But he's still looking for that freestyle win, though. I'm really excited to see what Jamie will bring into the stadium, since Jamie Garner, he's been doing a lot of arena shows this past summer. Like, he's been driving in shows such as arena shows such as Charlotte, Allentown, Savannah, Sunrise, Tampa, Duluth, and now in his final arena shows of the second quarter in Hidalgo. So that is nice here for Jamie Garner. He's back in El Toro Loco. Jamie Garner's been doing really good in those arena shows, getting some really great sky wheelies, and he's been getting some of the massive sky wheelies in some of these arena shows. So I cannot wait to see what sky wheelies he's going to be getting in the stadium shows coming up here in 2024. Cynthia Gauthier is back on the East Coast tour once again. Excited to see Cynthia Gauthier back here on the East Coast. Todd LeDuc is back in Megalodon yet again. Kind of disappointing here to see Todd in Megalodon. We really wanted to see him in Blue Thunder, since we already have our 3 other Megalodons about to be 4 in the next thing. More spoilers and foreshadowing. So it's disappointing we see LeDuc in Megalodon. LeDuc has had some struggles in Megalodon this past season, so I really do hope that they put LeDuc, and I kind of wish they put him in Blue Thunder instead, as he would probably thrive and do way better in Blue Thunder than he would Megalodon. Since we already have enough Megalodons, we can go one tour without a Megalodon on it. We have Colvinard in the Black Pearl out here once again. Hope Colvinard can have a good season this season. And I kind of am hoping Colvinard gets a new chassis, since Cole's chassis has not been doing well the past 3 times it ran. Cole has been having issues. He ended up blowing a motor in Foxborough in the semifinals of racing, and then he blew out his motor again in intros in East Rutherford. And then his EFI system stopped working in practice intros at World Finals. So I'm really hoping Cole's truck can get fixed, or he can get a new chassis that he can thrive and do amazing in 2024. In the Black Pearl, I'm hoping he can get a new chassis or something like that, so he can do really well driving Black Pearl. Matt Pagliarulo and Jester. Matt Pagliarulo had a really good bounce back season here this year. Matt was doing amazing in 2020, having his best season of his entire career back in 2020. Then the pandemic struck, and then it seems like after the pandemic, it seems like Matt just wasn't doing well. Well, when he came back for the Arlington shows, after the pandemic, he didn't do that good. And then Matt did not do good throughout 2020, and it was a really struggle of a season throughout 2021 and 2022 for Matt Pagliarulo and Jester. Or I don't know what happened to him over the pandemic to cause him to kind of lose his touch and his streak that he was on. I don't know if he just grew rusty, he got out of shape, or his truck, this rust grew on the truck, and the truck this wasn't working. It just collected dust, and it just wasn't working as good throughout the pandemic and the quarantine. And who knows what happened there for Matt Pagliarulo. But it is nice to see him. Then this year, he really had a bounce back season. He's been throwing in more backflips into his freestyle run, and he's just been doing better as of recently. This year, Matt Pagliarulo has had several great freestyle runs, such as in St. Louis Show 2, Miami Show 1, Minneapolis Show 1, Orlando, Detroit Show 1, Detroit Show 2, Syracuse, East Rutherford, Foxborough. He had amazing freestyles at all those shows. So we can always see what Matt will do next season here. I'm also really excited to see Matt bring back the red Jester bodies. I'm assuming Matt will be bringing back the red Jester body next season. Matt has been running the green Jester body for most of the season. And here, Matt ran the red Jester body from Oakland all the way through Orlando because he destroyed it. And they don't have the budget to want to fix it back up together, so Matt just ended up using an old green Jester body which he used from Detroit all the way to the Metal Shop show back in June. And we haven't seen Jester run since. We saw him with the 4th of July body at the World Finals. And I don't think he'll be running the 4th of July body next year. I think he will be running the Red Jester next year. So I'm really excited to see Matt here come back. I was a bit concerned Matt was not going to come back next season, that he was going to pass it down to his kids and let Michael get a full season in. And Michael or Chucky. But it is nice and happy to see that Matt did come back here again to drive Jester. Nick Pagliarulo is in Kraken once again. Nick had an absolute breakout season. Like, this season was an amazing season for Nick Pagliarulo. He has picked up a total of 4 freestyle wins on the season. And this year he picked up ones in Tampa, Syracuse, Cleveland, and at an independent show in at the Metal Shop show. But Nick has had so many great freestyle runs throughout the season. Like, he's done good freestyles in St. Louis show 2, Miami show 1, Miami show 2, Tampa show 1, where he had that amazing crash. Minneapolis show 1, Jacksonville, Syracuse, Atlanta show 2, East Rutherford, Cleveland, the Metal Shop show. Oh, Nick has just been doing amazing and cracking this season, and we cannot wait to see him drive once again here in 2024 here. And there's also, awesomely guys, since Nick Pagliarulo will be becoming a father in 2024, I can see 2 things possibly happening. I can see a pink Kraken coming, since Nick Pagliarulo is having a girl, so we can maybe see a pink Kraken to celebrate Nick Pagliarulo's new daughter that he's going to be having in around January. Alright, so we can maybe see a pink Kraken. But kind of like what we saw last year, if you guys remember last year, Kaylin Migas got pregnant last year, and Travis Mowry ended up having to leave a couple shows and miss out on 2 weekends, and to go help out with his wife Kaylin. So there's a possibility and a chance that we can be seeing Nick Pagliarulo leaving somewhere in either mid-January, late January, and maybe even early February. We may see Nick Pagliarulo leave, and we may see Nick Pagliarulo take a few weeks off, and maybe allow for Michael to come in and fill in and do some shows. Michael may do some shows, and which is really exciting to possibly see Michael maybe do a few shows next year, possibly to fill in for Nick. It hasn't been confirmed yet. This is a speculation, but it would be really cool to see Michael maybe either drive Kraken again, or maybe Michael will bring out other identities, like maybe he'll bring out trucks like Excalibur, Recreation, or Michigan Ice Monster. Maybe he'll bring out those trucks and run them either on the old original Jester and Kraken chassis, and the OG chassis for those trucks. Maybe he'll be driving on that chassis or on Nick's chassis. Just whatever. We cannot wait to see, and possibly if that could come to happen. John Gordon is back in Bad Company. John Gordon's been doing great as of recently, and I cannot wait to see what John Gordon has in store here for next season. And I think he can do really well. I'm really hoping he brings back that Chrome World Finals body. I'm really hoping he can bring that back for the next season. And Ryan Dishern's back in Shaker. I'm hoping Shaker can have a really good season in next year as well. I'm really hoping Shaker can really have a good season in next year as well as what he did this year. I hope he has a bit of a better season, since he did have some struggles this season. I'm hoping he has a bit of a better season next season here on Stadium Series East. Now let's take a look here at the schedule. So we have January 13th through 14th, they'll kick off the tour in San Antonio, Texas at the Alamo Dome. January 20th through 21st, they'll be in Houston, Texas at Energy Stadium. January 27th through 28th, they'll be in St. Louis, Missouri at the Dome at America Center. February 3rd through 4th, they'll be in Indianapolis, Indiana at Lucas Oil Stadium. February 10th through 11th, they'll be in Tampa, Florida at Raymond James Stadium. February 17th through 18th, they'll be in Minneapolis, Minnesota at the US Bank Stadium. February 24th through 25th, they're going to be in Miami, Florida at Lone Depot Park. March 2nd, they'll be in Orlando, Florida at Camping World Stadium. March 9th, they'll be in Jacksonville, Florida at Everbank Field. March 23rd through 24th, they'll be in Hartford, Connecticut at the XL Center for a Non for Points event. April 6th, they'll be in Syracuse, New York at the JMA Wireless Dome. April 13th through 14th, they'll be in Atlanta, Georgia at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. April 20th, they'll be in Foxborough, Massachusetts at Gillette Stadium. April 27th, they'll be in Denver, Colorado at Empower Field at Mile High. May 4th, they'll be in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania at the Lincoln Financial Field. And that will be it for this tour. Now, it's a really interesting, really good tour. It is a long tour. There are a lot of stops on this tour here that I'm really excited to be seeing here. I'm really excited to see here. Jamie Garner is going to get to compete in his hometown this year in Indianapolis, Indiana. And I'm really happy to see these the Florida tours back here. And I'm going to be attending a lot of events here for the Stadium Tour East. I'm going to be attending Tampa, Miami, Orlando, Jacksonville, and Atlanta. I'll be attending all 8 of those shows. So, be sure if you see me there and come by and say hi, as I'll be at all 8 of those shows. It's going to be a big year this year. That's why I was talking about that earlier at the beginning of the video. All the money I've spent. That is a lot of money I've spent. I've also confirmed, I can confirm, I did buy tickets here for World Finals. I bought tickets, and I will be going to World Finals, which is going to be really cool. I cannot wait to go out to California here to mark off another state. I'm going to be knocking off a bunch of states that I can now visit here next year. And there'll be another state I can attend a show in. As so far, the only 2 states I've done shows, I've attended Moss Jam shows in, is I've done Florida and Tennessee are the only 2 states where I've attended shows in. I've never attended any other, I've not attended any other monster truck shows in any other states besides Florida and Tennessee. So I'm excited to knock Georgia, and so I'm really excited to knock Georgia and California off the list of other states I've attended shows at. We are excited for that. I'm really excited to go to all these venues here. I'm excited to attend 2 brand new venues of Atlanta Motor Speedway and SoFi Stadium. Those are probably 2 really huge stadiums and huge venues. And well, they're not both stadiums, but those are huge stadiums and speedways. They're massive and huge, and I'm excited to be there at those shows. It's going to be really fun and really exciting. And the only other thing I'd like to mention is how Jacksonville has actually been changed here. Now, they used to call it TIAA Bank Field, but now they're calling it Everbank Field. I remember they used to call Jacksonville Everbank Field back in the older days of Monster Jam. They used to call They used to call it Everbank Field back in the day, but now they used to call it TIAA Bank Field. But now they're calling it back to Everbank Field, kind of like how they did years ago. So I'm assuming it's still going to be in the same venue. I'm pretty positive it is. And I'm really excited for Orlando as well. Orlando is going to be really cool. I'm really excited to finally see Bori in Orlando. Bori in Orlando. Bori in Orlando. Bori in Orlando. It's nice to see Bori's back in Orlando here next year. Bori was not in Orlando this year during the March show. He was not in Orlando, so it is nice to see Bori back in Orlando yet again here. That is something really cool. I cannot wait to see Bori back in Orlando. I cannot wait to see what he's going to do in Orlando in his hometown crowd. And the only other interesting thing here about the schedule that I'm going to mention is the fact of how they have for the Florida tour, what's something that doesn't make sense is they have Tampa, and then they go all the way out to Minneapolis, and then they come all the way back to Florida again to do Miami, Orlando, and Jacksonville. It doesn't really make sense. I don't know why they can't just do all the Florida shows all at once, but I guess that's okay. And I guess that's okay. Possibly could be because of the venue's availability and stuff like that, which is understandable. So okay, guys, I swear this time there's only 2 last things I want to mention here for the schedule, which is the fact that Tampa has been pushed back a week later compared to how we've seen it the past 2 years. And this will actually be my first time ever. I kind of feel like one of the YouTubers at this point, one of the boys. I feel like Wayne, Armando, and Reagan right now. I kind of feel like how I'm doing 3 back-to-back. I'm doing 3 back-to-back weekend of shows where I'm doing 3 consecutive weeks of shows, which is something I've never done before. I have done shows where I've done a back-to-back weeks of shows, like I did it for this year for Miami and Tampa, Jacksonville and Orlando, and then I did this past month in August of Sunrise and Tampa. So that is really interesting to see here. It's gonna be a really busy. So it's gonna be a really busy kind of couple of weeks here, doing 3 straight weeks of Monster Jam action. That's gonna be really fun and really interesting. I can't wait for that. Alright, it's now time to finally move on to the final tour, Arena Series West, which will feature Brandon Vincent, Gravedigger, Ashley Sanford, Megalodon, Tony Oaks and Thunder Wars, Bailey Shane, Monster Dalmatian, and Dalton Wagner in Jurassic Attack. This is really interesting here. We have the defending Arena Series Central Champion, Brandon Vincent, back behind the wheel of Gravedigger. We're going to excited to see Brandon Vincent back here in Gravedigger. He had a really good season in 2023, so we can't wait to see what he's going to do here this year, and we can hope he can bring home another Tour Championship win. Ashley Sanford, the co-rookie of the year. I'm excited to see what Ashley Sanford has up her sleeve here for these upcoming shows on the West Coast Tour next year. Tony Oaks is back on the West Coast. That's for the first time since 2020, so I'm excited to see what Tony Oaks will be doing here in Thunder Wars on some West Coast shows here in Thunder Wars. And we have Bailey Shea back behind the wheel of Monster Dalmatian yet again. And Dalton Wagner in Jurassic Attack. I can always see what Dalton Wagner is going to do here. Dalton Wagner had a really good season, and he's definitely an underdog on this tour. So the other things to know about this lineup is that there is a to-be-announced El Toro Loco driver, which I'm going to assume is going to be Manuel Solorio, who has been driving these past 2 weekends. He's drove in El Toro Loco these past 2 weekends. He drove it in he drove it in Duluth and now in Rosemont this weekend. So he's driven it in the past 2 weekends. So I'm assuming he's going to be that driver on that tour. And then we also have 2 to-be-announced drivers for Team Throttle Monster. We have Earthshaker, which is not going to be Tristan England, unless El Toro Loco is being run on a Team Throttle Monster chassis, which I don't think is going to happen. I'm pretty positive for the Earthshaker spot next year is going to be an Earthshaker spot. Maybe it will be, I'm predicting it could be either Hunter Souza. I have no idea what has happened to Hunter Souza. We haven't seen him since World Finals. For World Finals, that was the last time we saw Hunter Souza was at the World Finals, and he was there for just a display. Last time we saw him compete at a show was back in Salinas, back on Father's Day. So we haven't seen him compete in quite a while. He hasn't done any of the West Coast summer shows in Earthshaker, as Earthshaker has mainly been driven by on the West Coast arena shows this past summer have mainly been driven by either Jeff Souza, Trent Montgomery, Zach Jensen. Those have been the main drivers for it. So I'm really hoping Hunter Souza can return. Her and maybe Zach Jensen will drive it. Maybe Trent Montgomery will come back and do a full-time driving on it. And then there's also Velociraptor, which is the blue Velociraptor, which will be competing now on the arena tours this year instead of compared to the stadium tours. I don't know who will drive that. Maybe it'll be one of the previous drivers I just mentioned, or maybe it'll be Devin Winfield or Tim Hall Jr. or who knows. We'll have to wait and see. And I'm also predicting the blue. They'll be running on one of their other chassis, the blue Velociraptor chassis. I'm predicting it won't be run on the Paul Jensen's chassis. I'm predicting that's not going to happen because that header would be too loud for the arenas. So I'm predicting it'll be running maybe on Devin Winfield or maybe Tim Hall Jr.'s chassis or something like that. And I think that's the thing that maybe we'll be seeing being run on here for Earthshaker or for Velociraptor. So we'll just have to see. The tour schedule is going to go as followed. We'll have January 5th through 7th in Salt Lake City, Utah at the Delta Center. January 12th through 14th in Tacoma, Washington at the Tacoma Dome. January 19th through 21st in Reno, Nevada. January 26th to 28th at Sacramento, California at the Golden One Center. February 3rd in Fargo, North Dakota at the Fargo Dome. February 9th through 11th in Denver, Colorado at the Ball Arena. February 17th through 18th in Oklahoma City at the Paycom Arena. February 24th through 25th in Wichita, Kansas at the Intrust Bank Arena. March 1st through 3rd in Portland, Oregon at the Moda Center. March 15th through 17th in Fresno, California at the Save Mart Center. March 22nd through 24th in Tucson, Arizona at the Tucson Arena. March 29th through 30th in Lincoln, Nevada at the Pinnacle Bank Arena. April 5th through 7th in Green Bay, Wisconsin at the Wretch Center. We have April 13th to 14th, Albany, New York in the MVP Arena. April 27th to 20th in Evansville, Indiana at the Ford Center. May 4th through 5th in Moline, Illinois at the Vibrant Arena. That will be the wrap of the tour. So this tour does have some very interesting stops on here. First off, for Salt Lake City for the first tour, or they're not the Delta Center. I'm assuming the Delta Center is the same as the Vivint Arena. I'm assuming the venue just got renamed. That's what I'm thinking. The venue just got renamed here. They renamed it from the Vivint Center to the Delta Center. And that's what I'm assuming happened here for that arena in the Salt Lake City. That's what I'm assuming happened. I don't think they're changing venues for Salt Lake City, Utah. I could be wrong. Correct me in the comments down below if I'm wrong. And then the other noteworthy thing here, we have Reno, Nevada here is actually now being counted as for points. In years past, Reno, Nevada has not been counted towards the points toward the points. Whenever they demolished Reno, Nevada, the points aren't. They never do actual points there. It's not 4 points, but they're now doing it here in Reno, Nevada. It's a 4 points event, so that is going to be really cool here in Reno. I'm really excited for that. Reno is definitely going to have a really, really, really good show there in January. I'm hoping they have an 8-pack in Reno. I'm hoping they do that next. I'm hoping they do an 8-pack inside of Reno. And then the other noteworthy thing is how Green Bay, Wisconsin is on the tour. Or in Green Bay, Wisconsin is more on the East Coast than it is the West Coast. That sometimes is a bit confusing on why on earth do they have some of these tours on. It's called a West Coast tour, but yet there's some events on the East Coast. It just doesn't make sense to me. If you've got an answer for this, let me know in the comments down below. And we also do have some information about the World Finals schedule. As in fact, this World Finals schedule, I'm hoping I don't get demonetized for this since this was leaked onto the Monster Jam website but was taken down. It has said here the pit party is from 11 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. The two-wheel skills will be from 1 p.m. to 1:50. Racing is going to be from 2 p.m. to 3:10. The high jump is going to be from 3:15 to 3:45. Trackside at 5:30, and then freestyle from 7 to 9 p.m. So this is a really, really interesting schedule here for World Finals here. It's really interesting to see the pit party here. We get a full-length pit party here. As the pit party, thought the pit party was at 10 a.m. for a second, but I think they might have changed that. Thought the pit party was supposed to start at 10 a.m. for some reason, so we got like 2 extra hours into the pit party, but somehow it apparently changed. I thought it was 10 a.m., but now it's 11 a.m., so we get a normal World Finals pit party that we've been used to getting here throughout years past. Throughout the years past, it's usually 11 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., so that is nice to see here. So we get all the time trying to meet all the drivers here, so yeah, it's going to be really cool. Well, then we have two-wheel skills at 1 p.m. yet again. Racing is at 2 p.m., which is really interesting how they're putting racing in the afternoon. My only assumption for this is that they're going to change the track, since SoFi Stadium doesn't have that big of a floor size. So my prediction is they're going to change the track. They're going to do some track changes after high jump, as we have like almost a good 3 hours in between high jump and freestyle. And there's also for freestyle, we've also been given freestyle 2 hours and 40 minutes for freestyle, which is a really, really long time. So this could mean, guys, and since they have over an hour for racing, so you could possibly could see an expanded World Finals field next year. maybe they could expand to 28 or 32 trucks for the World Finals next season. Considering now that they have an extra time here to do all the events, they may expand the field. Possibly. Possibly they could, but it's not guaranteed. But I hope they do expand the field, though, and they'll have enough time. And I'm also really hoping and really praying that next year, since next year's Tom Meents' final season, we get a Max D encore next season. I'm really hoping we do get a Max D encore or returning next year, since we really do need a Max D encore. We need it. We need to get a Max D encore next year World Finals. We really need a Max D encore, considering how we didn't get one this year for the 20th anniversary. We need to get one this year here for the World Finals, since they do have enough time to fit in an encore here for Tom Meents. So it'll be unknown what the encore will be, but there's a good chance that we may not get a truck jump encore for this World Finals. Considering the amount of space the venue has, there's not enough room, I don't think, to do a truck jump. So I'm assuming we may not get a truck jump this year, which if that does happen where we don't get a truck jump, that will be really good. We could see a different kind of stunt, or maybe even a stunt, or maybe even an all-out freestyle encore, which we haven't seen in a really long time. So we could maybe see that. And everybody, that's going to wrap things up here for the 2024 schedule announcement analysis here. Some things I do like to note here for some of these tours is here's some of my predictions here, since these tours are not fully completed. These tours are not fully completed. I'm predicting Stadium Series West that Tristan England will be on Stadium Series West. Now, I don't know what truck Tristan England will be driving on that Arena Series West, considering on the Stadium Series West, I'm going to say, sorry, my bad. I don't know what truck he'll drive, since usually Monster Jam likes to debut a brand new truck every year, and there's not really enough room on any of the other tours to fit a brand new truck. Considering all 4 Feld trucks have been announced for Arena Series West. Arena Series West is going to feature Gravedigger, Megalodon, and El Toro Loco as the Feld trucks. The Feld trucks on Arena Series East are Gravedigger, El Toro Loco, and Dragon. The Feld trucks on Arena Series Central are Gravedigger, El Toro Loco, Scooby-Doo, and Monster Dalmatian. And the Feld trucks on Stadium Series East is Gravedigger, Max D, Zombie, Great Cliff Smokewear, Lucas Stabilizer, and Megalodon. So there is a chance Tristan England may not drive Earthshaker next season and may drive a completely brand new truck. So Tristan England could drive a completely brand new truck here next season for Stadium Series West. For Arena Series Central, I'm gonna predict the final two TBA trucks are going to be the Sims trucks. I'm hoping it'll be Chad Tingler and Hooked and Frank Krimmel and Stone Crusher, and those will be the 2 that will be competing on that tour, unless Tingler could run Zombie, but who knows? We'll have to see. And so those would be the two trucks that I'll be running on that tour. Arena Series East, I'm predicting it could be John Zimmer Sr. and a Megalodon. And Megalodon will either be piloted by Bernard Light or Logan Ashline. But part of me does think it could be Bernard Light, and Logan Ashline does the international tour next year. And we'll have to see. I'll talk more about international stuff later on. And then for Arena Series West, I'm predicting the TBAs are maybe Devin Winfield, Zach Jensen, Tim L. Jr., Hunter Souza. One of those guys will drive Velociraptor or Earthshaker on that tour, and then Manuel Solorio will drive El Toro Loco. And then for the for the international tour, part of me for my picks for the international tour, part of me is kind of predicting that maybe since for the 8 truck international tour, part of me is thinking that they may take out that Blue Thunder spot or the Earthshaker spot. Those might be replaced with Bernard Light and Logan Ashline will take out the two being the Blue Thunder and the Earthshaker spots. So I'm predicting next year for the international tour. My international tour predictions for 2024 is going to go as follows. I'm going to predict it's going to be Matt Cody and Gravedigger Blake Ranger Max D, Miranda Cozad in Monster Mutt Dalmatian, Brandon Arthur in Iron Man, Bernard Light in Spider-Man, Logan Ashline in Scooby-Doo, Chelsea Van Cleve in El Toro Loco, and then Charlie Pauken in Megalodon will consist of the international tour for next season. That is my prediction for that. And then also, something I did forget to say, there are some missing out teams that we will unfortunately not be seeing in 2024, or that we wish we could see. Unfortunately, Tailgater will not be running in 2024, as of my knowledge. I don't think he'll be running. We will not see Tailgater. We won't be seeing we won't see Dysfunctional or Animal House. I kind of wish I want to see them run in Monster Jam, but unfortunately they won't, since Faith Freed, I believe, is too young. Unfortunately, Lee Plato won't be running next year either. Unfortunately, Lee Plato won't be running since Shane Plato is too young. I was thinking somebody else to drive Skull Crusher, like maybe Jesus Esparza, maybe, to drive it since he's a part of the crew. But unfortunately, Lee Plato won't be competing next season. And there's other independent teams I could probably name. Big Kahuna is not going to be competing next year. Airmail won't be competing. So those are just the missing out independent trucks here. And that are missing out from this season. And yeah, that's going to be probably all I've got to say here about this schedule announcement. I cannot wait to see you all in 2024. Or I cannot wait to attend the events for Tampa, Miami, Orlando, Jacksonville, Atlanta, and the World Finals. I'm so excited to attend those events. I cannot wait. Let me know in the comments down below where you'll be at. And be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you guys can receive some more stuff regarding 2024 or stuff, as you know, regarding 2024 of when videos come out from the shows I go to, and more announcements. Maybe they change up the tours, and I'll post some stuff for the add new drivers, and then I'll post some stuff analyzing my opinions and thoughts on that. So please be sure to look out and stay tuned for that kind of stuff. And also subscribe, as well, and watch all my videos so I can by watching all my videos and giving views, and then putting comments and subscribing and liking, you're gonna boost my videos algorithm, so I can try to get more views. So that way I can try to go to more shows in the future, such as Birmingham, Alabama. So if you want to see me guys go to more shows and put out more content for you guys, be sure to go subscribe. Also, guys, follow me on Instagram. And as I'm filming this video right now, I'm actually only 1 follower from 100 followers on Instagram. So be sure to go follow me on Instagram at SpongeBobFan23_is_cool. Go follow that. I'll put the link in the description down below. Go follow my Instagram, and you'll see more information and stuff on that. So the shows I'll be attending, and I'll be posting some stuff that I won't be posting to YouTube, such as pit party pictures and me driving to the venue. Since next year I'm officially stopping doing the pit party vlogs. Next year I won't be doing those. Next year to save data and battery life. Plus I don't want to really film all my interviews with the drivers. I just I just want to talk with the drivers and not have everything be filmed. So I'll be posting all my pictures and stuff like that with the drivers to Instagram instead of YouTube. Oops. So yeah, make sure you can go follow my Instagram account, so that way you can see all that stuff. And I may post my Instagram story of me on my way traveling to venues and stuff I find. But I will still be doing next year. I'm still doing on my YouTube channel. I'll still be doing full shows and at the stadium vlogs, like at Raymond James Stadium, like the Thursday and Friday stadium vlogs. Those will still be happening next year here, so be sure to stay tuned and look out for that. Please be sure to stay tuned for that. As I'll be doing that next year. Follow my Instagram account. And I'd also love to give a special shout out to BuckFan23, as BuckFan23 was the one who's provided and all these tickets for us and bought all the tickets for me and spending thousands of dollars. So thank you, BuckFan23. Go subscribe to BuckFan23. The link to it will be in the description down below. Even though he doesn't post that much anymore, but that's okay. Go follow him anyway. He's really cool. Thank you, man, and thank you, Dad. That was really nice. Really, thank you for all the work and hard work you've done and put into this channel, helping us pursue our dreams. Alright, that's the end. Like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and I'll see you all in the 2024 Monster Jam season.